You know, life has a funny way of taking us down different paths. I'm Christopher, and for years I've been juggling my responsibilities as a father in Qatar, trying to provide a stable life for my three kids. Every year I make the trek back to Mombasa, reconnecting with my roots, but it's always the same routine: work, family obligations, and the occasional visit to the beach. It's predictable, structured, safe even. Then there's Willison. He's the complete opposite. I remember him as this vibrant, music loving guy who could light up any room. He runs a community center in Kisumu filled with laughter, music, and a whole lot of chaos. His family? They're a whirlwind of energy, big, loud, and always up for an adventure. I often think about those carefree days we spent together in high school, but life pulled us apart. 15 years without a word. Then, out of the blue, I get this voice note from him. Bro, we're having a family reunion in Kisumu. Everyone's coming. Bring your kids. Bring your wife. I want our families to finally meet. At first, I hesitated. I mean, what would my structured family think of his lively crew? Would they even get along? But deep down, I felt a spark of excitement. I could almost hear the laughter, the music, the chaos. It's been so long since I've stepped out of my comfort zone. So, I took a leap of faith. I told my wife, and to my surprise, she was all in. Let's do it, she said. I could see the excitement in my kids' eyes, too. They were ready for an adventure, something different from our usual routine. As we packed our bags, I felt a mix of nerves and anticipation. What if our families clashed? What if the differences were too great? But then I remembered the bond Willison and I had. We were kids once, full of dreams and laughter. Maybe this reunion could rekindle that spirit. So here I am, ready to embrace the chaos, the connection, and the rediscovery of not just my friendship with Willison, but of what it means to be part of a larger family. This summer is going to be unforgettable, and I can't wait to see how our worlds collide.
When Christopher's family arrived in Kisumu, I could feel the tension in the air. You could practically cut it with a knife. My kids, bursting with energy and creativity, were ready to dive into the chaos, while Christopher's kids were glued to their screens, barely making eye contact. It was like watching two different worlds collide. His wife, so proper and meticulous, stood there with a clipboard, probably planning the perfect schedule for their stay. Meanwhile, my wife was spinning tales and dancing around the room, trying to coax a smile out of everyone. It was awkward at first, like a bad sitcom where nobody knows their lines. Then came the goat. Yes, a goat. It charged right into the living room, and I swear I've never seen Christopher's kids move so fast. They scrambled up onto the couch, eyes wide, while my kids were doubled over in laughter. That was the moment I realized we were onto something. As the days went by, misunderstandings piled up like laundry. There was that time my wife accidentally proposed to Christopher during a game of charades. She was just trying to act out marriage. But the look on his face was priceless. We all burst into laughter, and suddenly the walls began to crumble. Cooking together became our secret weapon. We gathered in the kitchen, chopping vegetables and sharing recipes. My kids showed Christopher's kids how to make chapati, and in return they introduced us to some bizarre tech gadgets. It was a beautiful mess, flour flying everywhere and laughter echoing off the walls. Then came music night. We brought out the drums, and Christopher's family hesitantly joined in. At first they were shy, but soon enough the rhythm took over. We were all dancing, singing, and forgetting our differences. It felt like we were creating a new family bond, one beat at a time. And just when we thought we had it all figured out, the power went out, complete darkness. For a moment, panic set in. But then we lit candles and gathered around, sharing stories and jokes. It was like we were transported back to a simpler time, where laughter was the only light we needed. By the end of that week, we had transformed from strangers to friends. We discovered that despite our differences, we shared the same values: family, laughter, and a love for life. Who would have thought that a goat, a mistaken proposal, and a power outage could bring two families together? It was chaos, yes, but it was our chaos, and it was beautiful.
You know, when I first heard that the youth center was at risk of shutting down, it felt like a punch to the gut. This place isn't just a building, it's a lifeline for our kids, a safe haven where they can explore their creativity, make friends, and learn valuable skills. Willison has poured his heart into this center, and it's hard to imagine our community without it. That's when my eldest son stepped up. He's always been inspired by Willison's family, their creativity, and their passion for bringing people together. He came to me with this idea, a community event to raise awareness and funds. At first, I was hesitant. Could we really pull something like this off? But then I saw the fire in his eyes, and I knew we had to try. So we got to work. I took charge of the organization, mapping out every detail. We needed a venue, permits, volunteers, and of course, a way to spread the word. It was a whirlwind of phone calls and planning sessions, but I was fueled by the thought of what this center meant to our kids. Willison, with his natural charisma, took on the role of hype man. He rallied the community, sharing stories about the center's impact. People started to feel that spark of hope. They remembered the laughter, the friendships, and the lessons learned within those walls. It was contagious. Meanwhile, the kids were busy too. They decided to put together a music and storytelling show. I watched them rehearse, their excitement palpable. They were creating something special, something that showcased their talents and their love for the center. It was incredible to see them come together, each bringing their unique flair to the performance. And then there were the moms. They realized this was their chance to bond and empower the younger girls. They organized workshops, teaching leadership skills and encouraging confidence. It was beautiful to see generations connect, sharing wisdom and support. The day of the event arrived, and I could hardly believe my eyes. The community came out in droves. Families, friends, neighbors. Everyone was there, united for a common cause. The energy was electric. The kids performed their hearts out, and the audience was captivated. Laughter, applause, and cheers filled the air. By the end of the night, we had raised enough funds to keep the youth center open. But more than that, we had reignited a sense of community. We realized that home isn't just about the physical space we occupy. It's about the people we surround ourselves with, the connections we forge, and the love we share. In that moment, I understood that we had created something lasting. We saved the center, yes, but we also strengthened our community. We learned that together we can overcome challenges and support one another. Home is truly where the heart is, and our hearts are intertwined in this beautiful tapestry of life. You know, sitting here under this tree, it feels like time has folded in on itself. Willison and I, we used to sit here as teenagers, dreaming about the future, talking about life, love, and everything in between. Back then, we were just kids, full of chaos and ambition, but now it's different. We've grown, we've changed, but somehow we're still the same at our core. Willison looks at me and says, "You've changed, bro, but you're still the same where it counts." It's funny how true that is. Life has a way of shaping us, doesn't it? I've taken on the role of a father, a provider, a protector. I've embraced the discipline and structure that comes with that. But deep down, there's still that love for old Swahili music, those rhythms that remind me of home, of my roots. And then there's Willison. He's still the same outgoing, soulful guy, always ready to dance, to tell a joke, to bring a smile to everyone's face. His chaos is infectious, and honestly, I think my family needed a little bit of that. It's like he brings a spark, a reminder that life isn't just about being serious all the time. It's about joy, laughter, and connection. Look at our kids. They're out there chasing each other across the field, laughing just like we used to. It's a beautiful sight. They're a mix of teenage awkwardness and boundless creativity, learning from each other, just like we did. It's incredible to see how the bonds of friendship and family transcend generations. Willison's wife, with her warm heart and animated storytelling, brings a sense of community that I admire. And my wife, quiet yet fiercely protective, keeps us grounded with her strong moral compass. Together, we've built something special, a tapestry woven from our experiences, our cultures, and our dreams. As we prepare to return to Qatar, I can't help but reflect on how far we've come. The journey hasn't always been easy, but it's been worth it. We've faced challenges, celebrated victories, and through it all, we've held on to our faith and each other. In the end, it's about the connections we make, the love we share, and the memories we create. Two roads may have brought us here, but they've led us to one home, a place filled with laughter, chaos, and the unbreakable bonds of family and friendship.